evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And welcome to our discussion, reaction, review of She-Hulk Episode 7, called The Retreat. We are just cruising right along.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting episode. Spoilers, by the way, spoiler discussion. And another thing that we'll talk about on another review, too, is we are reacting to what we just watched. We are not live reacting as we watch along.
Right.
We're here for the discussion. I do put reaction in the title because we are reacting to what we just saw. Thanks for coming. Hit the like button while you're here before you leave. So this episode, I think, is going to get some pushback from a lot of people because it feels very disjointed. And there's been some criticisms of the show, both good and bad, about the kind of the story of the week or whatever, because it's a very different kind of. They're doing a very different kind of thing with this show than what they've done with other shows and other MCU content. And this one is even more out of place, I feel, than the other ones.
So,
I do like this episode.
Okay.
I do like this episode.
Okay. This episode was, on the surface, about Jen. We've talked about this in other reviews.
I'm glad you're going there, because I was going to go there.
Jen trying to come to terms with Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, as you know, and Jen being kind of not necessarily introverted because she's an attorney, but just not comfortable in her own skin, I guess.
That's a really good way of putting it. Because she has confidence, especially in the courtroom.
Right? Yeah.
She has confidence.
You know, I'm gonna go back and be a lawyer. I don't care if I'm She-Hulk.
Yeah.
On the surface, this episode, down under the surface, is all about expectation subversion. You're going to Emil's house, even back up more. Her and Josh going out. They go out like 3 times before she even brings them in. They don't even kiss at the door, and each time you're like, are they gonna? No, okay. And then they go to Emil's house, and because his monitor was acting up, and you're like, he took it off, whatever, and they get there, and it's just this wonderful, calm place. And then his people, his friends, I don't even know if
his clients,
he said I don't know. He said he had friends. I don't know if these are the friends or those girls were the friends, but they're all like misfit superheroes.
There is other shows, other channels that are going to break down all of those characters that were in the meeting. I'm sure they're like F or G level Marvel, like showed up in one comic, whatever, and they threw them in. But it's the subversion that you're talking about with all of them,
right?
And what they all are, and then Wrecker is there.
Right.
Who was kind of the leader of the wrecking crew that tried to attack her.
Right.
And he is also in this zen-like state, like trying to what's word? Big word for Elmo. He's trying to make amends for the things that he had come to terms with the things who he was and the things that he did,
or at least
that's the surface level,
right? Yeah. For him, that is. But like right now, I feel like he has kind of infiltrated Emil's group. He's the only one that's not there in some kind of costume. He's like more. He's got it more together than everybody else. Like he has found his center, and he is, making his peace, and everybody else is kind of like, they're still,
Still
and-
working through their own personal.
yeah, I'm sure you
things,
taste good, and
Yeah.
wearing the porcupine outfit, and the matador and the bull can't sit next to each other anymore because they're way too engaged with each other, and
Codependency. That running joke the entire time in the circle was just hilarious because
right, because what's a matador without a bull?
and him like I dabbled in being a matador in college. Like it's just like it's again expectation subversion
Yeah,
with everybody that's there, including Emil, because the parole officer. The only reason that that Jen goes is because the parole officer didn't want to go out there by himself,
right.
and he's like, I would really like to have some backup and
yeah.
Hulk form in case it is actually Abomination. And Emil's the entire time is just like de-escalating and
Yeah.
everything.
But
everybody
her
in the
car
group.
gets wrecked, and suddenly it's going to take forever for the tow truck driver to get there, and she has no cell service, and he has no Wi-Fi, and you're like, oh my god, they've kidnapped her,
right, right.
The this is how every horror movie ever
She stumbles
starts.
into a random barn at the back of the land or the
Yeah.
back of the ranch or whatever.
And you're like, oh, they're going to be doing human sacrifices. No, they're just having a therapy session,
A group therapy session. And I just love what they're doing with this show and what they're allowing it to be itself.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the underlying there's what it's like to be a woman in the world today conversation that's going on, which is the main conversation. She just happens to be big and green at times.
Right.
But the underlying conversation that's going on through all of this is just people coming to terms with who they are.
Yeah.
And it was going on with Emil. It was going on with it's been going on with Jen. It's going on with Nikki. It's going on it was going with
Hulk, Banner's Hulk.
Banner's Hulk, Mr. Immortal in the last episode. Like he could never end a relationship.
Right. He's
So he
gotta
just
jump
killed
out
himself.
a
Like
window.
so it's just coming to terms with who you are. And this therapy session is a great example of allowing yourself to let go of whatever expectations you have for this show. This show has also been super meta. They've been pointing out to fanboys who have having a hissy fit online about all these different things, and they teased Daredevil like 4 episodes ago.
I know.
In every episode, there has been TikTok after TikTok. When are we getting Charlie Cox in this show? You're missing the whole point of the show.
Right. Engage in the story that's being told.
And I love it. I love it. After Jen comes, it's totally just, this is Marvel trolling all of us. Even not just the fanboys who are just being
yeah,
misogynistic.
but I'm here for it.
I'm here for all of it.
Doesn't-
Because they're playing with the expectations that we built up with WandaVision. That became its own thing. They never intended it to be that.
Right.
But it became its own thing, and everybody was all upset when that thing that was there wasn't there in Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
Captain America and the White Wolf. I'm going to call up everything else, but what it actually is. But so we as a fandom are getting trolled by Marvel with all of this, like, this means something. Here's this means something. That means something. This doesn't mean anything. Oh, this guy, Josh, is a really nice guy. Gosh. I blink myself on purpose.
I hate Josh. I am very, very angry with Josh.
I want to talk about Josh, but I also want to talk about the guys in the circle when she comes to terms with everything, and they all explained to her that he ghosted her,
right?
And now they all of their responses is, "Tell me where his address is. We'll go kill him right now." And we as the audience are all like, "But Josh was really good. It's just something we're with Jen in the whole conversation.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, it's just nothing. He's really busy or something happened or whatever." And then they give us this kind of post-credit scene. Their post-credit scenes have been like epilogues to the episode, not after the credits, but after the episode. And Josh, they sleep together, which is awesome that they kind of are just playing into that Jen and She-Hulk being, she's very sexual in the comics, so kind of engaging in that conversation here too as well. But Disney wise,
Right.
as you
Right.
can, but him copying her cell phone and then taking a picture of her and then sending it text with the blood green color, whatever, the emoji text,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm with all the boys in the freaking
Yeah.
therapy group. Where is Josh? He needs to freaking die in a grease fire.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this last week, that we really wanted Josh to be an actual good guy, but we were pretty sure that he wasn't going to be a
Yeah,
good guy.
because it's always too good to be true. But as soon as, like, I was still, like you said, I was still with Jen. Like, maybe something happened. You know, he got
Super busy.
the Hulk King. Is that what he's calling
Yeah.
himself? The bad guy that nobody knows who it is. Maybe he kidnapped him or something as a way to get
I
to
thought
Jen.
I thought that too. Yeah.
Until the group told her to delete the number, and I was like, oh, she's gonna delete the number, and then she's gonna wish she hadn't, because she's gonna need it.
And that's when I think, because now there's a picture of her, he took a picture of her naked in bed, and now they're going to need somebody like Matt Murdock, not necessarily Daredevil, but Matt Murdock, to be there to kind of help Jen through the whole process of, actually, you're a superhero now. Bruce is gone, taking care of his son and Sakaar. Yes, I just said that. But that whole, like, they're going to need somebody who is a superhero.
Yeah.
Who has to deal with two identities and what that means. That is going to be like her Yoda.
Maybe she's gonna need legal representation, and
Well,
he'll come in and be her lawyer.
They did that with the Titania stuff.
Yeah.
What, last episode, the episode before.
Yeah. But they might need somebody who's actually a superhero to do it.
But
nobody knows that he's Daredevil.
Nobody knows that he's.
Yeah,
that
I don't know.
Matt is Daredevil.
Yeah, I know.
As we sit right now, inside the MCU, secret identities aren't really a thing. Inside the Netflix Marvel thing, it was.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to try to speculate about how they're going to make that work, but the idea of having somebody who is living two lives to be the Yoda in this process for her, to kind of help her deal with what the expectations are, or what her expectations need to be for the people that are around her who know and stuff like that, is going to be like, I think that might be the conversation that they have.
Because he has, he's got Foggy and what's the girl's name?
Jen? No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
He has both of them, and they know. I mean, she found out a little later, but he's got people around him that know, so they can help kind of protect him. And like, kind of all the Defenders had their little
had somebody there with
circle. And then, but like, Jen is almost the opposite of that, right? Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows, and the only one who's really been trying to protect her is Nikki.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but
they pointed it out that, again, because after last week and Nikki telling her about
the dark web, the Informacon,
Invictus something. I can't remember what it's called. Please be nice in the comments down below. But Nikki pointed out, are you scrolling through that? And she's like, no, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Except there's actual death threats for Jen and for She-Hulk. And there's, and they've been kind of, I won't say backdoor, but like dark corners, kind of having this group going after her blood.
Right.
That really feels like the leader of that group, who is the one from The Incredible Hulk, whose brain gets all irradiated.
The doctor guy.
They call him the leader, but I can't remember what his name is.
So, I mean, I get, she's all wrapped up in the moment, but why doesn't she ask him why he was trying to get her blood. Like what were they doing? Right? She doesn't really
I-
interrogate him at
I-
all, other than
so,
they kind of stopped the whole fight.
Yes, my initial reaction to that conversation is it was such a kind of throwaway shot in the show, or in the fight. It was a throwaway shot. It's not important until later when they go to try to stick her with the needle thing.
Right.
And she like glanced at it and it was moving on because it didn't penetrate, so
Yeah.
it didn't really do anything. So like in her head, I'm projecting now, but in her head, it wasn't a thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
It was 4 guys jumped a girl in the alley behind her
Yeah.
house. It
Yeah,
wasn't
and she
necessarily
even
about the
kind of
blood.
said something about that. Like it was 4 guys and you jumped a girl, so she's thinking maybe it's more of just a mugging type situation.
Sexual assault, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that women deal with on a regular basis, and so we, as the audience, know that all this stuff is going on
Yeah.
behind her back.
Yeah.
She doesn't know.
Yeah.
And so that puts us in a place where we're like, Jen, you need to be paying attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
You're busy trying to like find yourself, which is good. You need to find yourself, but
Right.
but the idea that
But somebody's actually trying to kill you.
I-
So find yourself in a minute.
or if not kill you, clone you,
Yeah.
do something
Yeah.
along that
Make
line,
more of you to go after you.
which
and
is very
Bruce.
interesting because Emil's back on the table again.
Right. But if he's a good guy, a good-ish guy, and they do start cloning, again, we don't know
Whatever they're
anything
gonna
about
do,
the
yeah.
comics, so I don't know if that's something that they did or not, but or they make one or multiples to go after
Red Hulk or whatever.
She-Hulk and Bruce Banner and Emil. At least there's 3 of them now to kind of.
Right.
Instead of
right.
just-
4. Hulk's son is on a Sakaar.
That's true. Maybe he'll come back.
Come
Bruce will
back
come back
and-
with.
Hi, this is Teddy. And Teddy's sitting there playing the freaking game on his phone. I
am Groot.
I just I want to reiterate. I really feel like some of the conversation around this episode is going to be lost on the subversion, misdirect that people are going to miss.
Right.
And it really took after the episode and having a chance to kind of sit down and talk about it, which is why I like doing this right after the episode. It's fresh in our head and we can kind of work through our feelings as we're doing it. But the idea that this episode, I think, is one of the better episodes because it was all about subversion and all about really getting the chance for us as the audience to cheer for Jin, because Jin finally comes to terms with herself.
Yeah.
And is already kind of accepting her life as She-Hulk.
Right.
And so the 2 of them actually being able to work together, it's really like us as the audience are cheering for Jin.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, they're trying to steal your shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was, like I said, I was figuratively on the edge of my seat pretty much the whole time, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it didn't drop until the very end.
Right. So we are looking for Josh's address. The vampire dude and the porcupine. Porcupine's going to stick him, and then
Vampire.
vampire's going to suck all of his blood out.
By the way, vampires MCU. It's a thing now. It's happened.
Again, they dropped it like to just drop it like la di da. Like we're just dropping this in here.
Yep.
Like we just.
But it's not a word this time. It's an actual person. There is an actual person.
He thinks they did make a point of saying he thinks that he's a vampire.
Yeah, I think he actually is.
I don't know. He was out in the sun.
So is Blade.
Yeah, but Blade's a daywalker.
Okay, maybe he's a daywalker.
Maybe it would be really funny. It's really funny because the character, the guy who played him was black.
Yeah,
and it would be really interesting. They actually missed a cameo with Porcupine, having it be somebody.
I know, and again with the expectations subversion,
I just kept waiting.
He goes, and you're like, oh my god, who's it gonna be? Oh, it's just some random guy that smells bad because he hasn't taken the suit off in forever.
Right. I love that joke.
Yeah.
I love that joke. They
True.
they kept kind of gently trying to push him to remove the suit.
Yeah.
And then when he finally opens up to the opportunity to do it, they're all like,
Put it back on. And if you've ever been to Comic-Con, you know exactly
you know
that
exactly
smells
what we're
like.
talking about. All right, we went 20 minutes on this episode. Let us know what you thought of our discussion and reaction and review of She-Hulk episode 7. Numbers have been a thing for me this week, so just the thumbnail might say 86. I don't know. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments down below. Please be nice. It's a requirement around here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Follow us on all social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Links in the description down below. And until next time, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.